In the dead of night, when the wind whistles through the trees and the moon casts its cold, pale light on the ground, there's a statue that stands alone in an old, forgotten cemetery. This is no ordinary statue. Locals claim that it's cursed. A weeping angel with hollow eyes, its wings spread in eternal sorrow. But what truly makes this statue infamous isn't just its mournful appearance. It's the whispers that come from it. If you walk by it at night, you might hear a voice, soft and barely audible, whispering your name. And the closer you get, the louder the whispers become. But be warned, those who hear their name will soon be followed by a streak of misfortune. A dark shadow that won't leave them until they return to the graveyard and leave a token of their own. This is the story of the Whispering Statue, a chilling tale of curses, sorrow, and the price of disturbing the dead. The statue, known by the locals as the Weeping Angel, has stood in this old cemetery for as long as anyone can remember. Shrouded in mystery, it is said to be the grave marker of a young woman who died under tragic circumstances many years ago. The story goes that she was a young woman, deeply in love, but her heart was shattered when her beloved was taken from her. In her grief, she cried so much that her tears turned into stone, and she was cursed to remain forever in her sorrow, her tears flowing for eternity. Some say that she is not just a statue, but the spirit of the woman, trapped in stone, mourning for a love lost. But why does this statue whisper names? And why are people drawn to it in the dead of night? No one can say for certain. The locals avoid it, claiming that those who hear their names spoken by the statue will be followed by a string of bad luck, a curse that never seems to end. It's not uncommon for people to visit the old cemetery, drawn by its eerie reputation or out of curiosity. But once the sun sets and the moon rises, something strange happens. The air becomes colder, the wind grows stronger, and the whispers begin. Daniel was one of those curious souls. A skeptic at heart, he didn't believe in curses or ghosts, just old stories meant to spook children. But on a cold autumn night, Daniel decided to take a walk through the cemetery, determined to prove that there was nothing to the legend of the Weeping Angel. As he approached the statue, he noticed the soft whispers in the air, barely audible, like the wind brushing past his ears. At first, he tried to ignore it, assuming it was just the rustling leaves. But the whispers soon grew louder, almost as if they were calling him by name. Daniel, the voice echoed in his ears. He stopped dead in his tracks, his heart racing. He was alone, but it felt like something was there, right behind him, watching him. He glanced around, but the cemetery was silent again. Shaking it off, Daniel continued to walk past the statue, but the whispers didn't stop. They only grew louder and more insistent. Daniel, he paused, his breath caught in his throat. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. It said that once you hear your name, you are bound by the curse. And from that moment forward, Daniel's life would never be the same. At first, Daniel tried to dismiss the strange whispers. After all, it was just an old cemetery, right? But as days passed, he began to feel the weight of the curse. His life quickly spiraled into chaos. His car broke down on a desolate road, miles from home. The very next day, he was caught in a downpour without an umbrella. Things only got worse from there. He was late for work, missed an important meeting, and then, just when he thought things couldn't get worse, he caught a nasty flu. He could feel something following him, a presence that seemed to linger just out of sight. Every time he turned a corner, he felt like someone was watching him. He couldn't shake the feeling that it was connected to the statue, connected to that whisper that had called his name. Daniel soon realized that the curse wasn't just bad luck. It was as if something dark had been unleashed, something that would not stop until he returned to the cemetery and made things right. But there was one catch. To break the curse, he would have to go back to the graveyard and leave behind a token of his own, something that would pay the price for disturbing the dead. So, Daniel returned to the cemetery, the place where it all began. He was desperate to end the curse and put an end to the misfortune that had plagued him for days. But as he approached the Weeping Angel, he couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching him, its stone eyes following his every move. When he reached the statue, he felt a wave of unease wash over him. He knew that in order to break the curse, he would have to give something up. Something that held sentimental value, something that would serve as an offering to the restless spirit. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver ring, a family heirloom passed down from his grandmother. It was the only thing he had left of her after she passed away. It had always given him comfort, but now, in the face of the curse, it would be the price he had to pay. He placed the ring at the base of the weeping angel, his heart racing. And just as he stepped back, the whispers started again, soft, but growing louder. "Daniel, thank you." And then the silence fell. For the first time since he had heard the whispers, Daniel felt a sense of calm. The tension, the feeling of being watched, it was all gone. The misfortune had lifted. Daniel left the cemetery that night, free from the curse that had plagued him for days. But as he walked away, he couldn't help but wonder, was the statue truly cursed? Or was it something deeper, something far more ancient and unsettling? To this day, the weeping angel stands in the cemetery, its whispers waiting for the next person to hear their name. And for those who do, the curse is inevitable. If you ever find yourself in that old cemetery, walking by the statue in the dead of night, be careful. Because once you hear your name, you'll never be the same. You'll be followed by misfortune, and there may only be one way to stop it: returning to the graveyard and leaving behind a piece of your own soul. But beware, leave too much behind, and you may never escape at all. Thank you for watching this chilling tale of the Whispering Statue. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another spine-chilling legend from the darker corners of the world. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, but above all, remember, some whispers are better left unheard.